Yo, I got something insane to talk to y'all about today. The head of the U.S. intelligence community, Tulsi Gabbard, is a Russian asset. Everybody knows about this, and nobody's doing anything about it. I know Republicans in Congress know about it because multiple Republican senators had concerns during her Senate confirmation hearings. I know the Trump administration know about it, including Trump. That's why they sidelined her for the Venezuela raid. And by the way, Trump know a lot of his administration is probably compromised by Russia and he ignore it. The only time he won't ignore it is when it's something that will personally harm him. So he made sure to keep her far away from any plans and intel, anything to do with the Venezuela raid. But he strangely want her involved in a US election issue, one that he just made up out of thin air. And by the way, Jeffrey Epstein said via email he's been giving Russian officials insight on how to deal with Trump. We discussed that email before in detail, but again, Tulsi Gabbard is the head of the intelligence community. She is responsible for foreign intelligence, and she is a Russian asset. And what she's been up to lately should be alarming everybody. But I want to pause right there and ask everybody to subscribe to my YouTube page and sign up for my email list. Link is in the description. That is the best way to stay in the loop on all things politics with Steve. Without further ado, let's get back to it. All right, so almost a week ago, we learned that Tulsi Gabbard's office been hiding a whistleblower complaint that was received back in August of 2025. Like, that is illegal. The law requires all whistleblower complaints to be released to Congress within 14 days. And they claiming that this complaint will jeopardize national security. They saying that because it's so highly classified, I guess it is challenges involving how to get it to Congress. It sounds to me like Tulsi Gabbard has the most, classified whistleblower complaint against her in the history of whistleblower complaints. Like a complaint so bad the Gang of Eight hasn't even seen it. Now, when I initially heard about this, I just immediately thought, what could be so bad that you hide a whistleblower complaint from Congress? Then information about this whistleblower complaint started coming out. According to MS Now, a senior U.S. intelligence official and an attorney representing this person says that this complaint contained highly classified information about an intercepted call between two foreign nationals, and it involved Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
As the Wall Street Journal described it today, the report centers around a conversation between two foreign nationals last year discussing Jared Kushner and reportedly Iran. Beyond that, we have no idea what the content of that conversation was. Now, the whistleblower also alleges that the NSA's general counsel's office failed to report a, quote, potential crime to the Justice Department that was raised by the content of the conversation.
Now, the reason why this is so concerning is because when Trump took office the first time, he gave Jared Kushner the role of a senior advisor, and this dude couldn't even get a national security clearance due to like all of his foreign entanglements. I'm gonna just call them entanglements, but we know what that is. Trump literally had to override the background check just to give him a security clearance. And what did Jared Kushner do with that role? He helped plan Trump's first foreign trip as president to Saudi Arabia, which was the first time any U.S. president ever did that. I mean, Trump's first trip as president was to a country that our own intelligence community say they played a role in 9/11. But it all played out good for him because when Trump wrapped up his term in office, Jared Kushner walked away with a $2 billion investment from Saudi Arabia for a fund he barely had any experience running. Now, the Saudi Arabia agency that's responsible for protecting the country against bad investments advised against it. They said Jared Kushner's company was too new, Jared didn't have the experience to manage these investments, but the Saudi crown prince overruled them and made the investment anyway. And it seems like Kushner picked up right where he left off during Trump's second term. The only difference is, before Trump took office, he claimed he didn't want to be a part of the government. He claimed that he didn't want an official role, but he would help out a lot whenever Trump needed him. But he seemed to be doing a lot of business around the government. I mean, I cannot believe they tried to make it seem like Hunter Biden was selling his access to his dad, Joe Biden. Companies are literally giving money to Jared Kushner just to basically bribe Trump. We just seen Jared Kushner randomly show up and be a part of Paramount's bid to acquire Warner Bros. I mean, He came with some all cash offer that was sponsored by a private equity firm backed by, Saudi wealth funds, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi. You already know. Like, this guy is around everything involving the Middle East. Anything to do with money in the Middle East, Jared Kushner is there. Now, he ended up cutting those ties to Paramount, probably because people was on to him. It was very obvious what was going on. But like I said, his business in the Middle East has not stopped even a little bit. Look, and in addition to that, he and another Russian asset, Steve Witkoff, who's one of Trump's random real estate buddies, is currently negotiating on behalf of the United States with Russia to end the war in Ukraine. That's why every peace deal that comes from the United States, it obviously favors Russia because the people that's negotiating with Russia is compromised by Russia. So a whistleblower complaint about this guy, Jared Kushner, this is very alarming. Congress needs to see an unredacted version of this ASAP. And stuff like this is exactly why her playing a role in the Georgia election office is so suspect. Trump had his FBI raid the Georgia election office for no good reason. There is no credible evidence of election fraud. It actually came out that what they used to get the search warrant was some of the same crackpot conspiracy theories that they've been floating around this whole time. But look, the director of national intelligence being present at an FBI raid in Georgia is a insane overreach of authority. Like, intelligence officials should not be doing anything in regards to domestic law enforcement or any sort of domestic issues in general. They are literally foreign intelligence officers. Why the fuck was she there? Now, Tulsi Gabbard said it was Trump that asked her to be there. She sent a letter to Congress saying that Trump wanted her to be there, and so she, showed up there. Trump said Attorney General Pam Bondi actually directed her to be there. He literally said Pam asked her to do it. Now, a spokesperson for Tulsi Gabbard afterwards said both President Trump and Attorney General asked her to be present. They trying to clean up this contradiction, but at the end of the day, she shouldn't have been there regardless of who asked her. And then Reuters reported that a team that works for Tulsi Gabbard last spring led an investigation into Puerto Rico's voting machines. I guess the goal was to work with the FBI to investigate claims that Venezuela hacked voting machines in Puerto Rico. And as you probably can guess, there was absolutely no evidence that was produced by this investigation. And honestly, her being involved in these investigations is just alarming. People in Congress need to be calling for immediate hearings to understand what's going on. We need impeachments and we need criminal charges against Tulsi Gabbard because why is a Russian asset looking into U.S. election issues? We are cooked as a country if we leave these people in charge of the United States that are obvious foreign agents.